of Tourism, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Priti Srivastava, Pro Vice Chancellor, KIT University, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Tapan Kumar Panda, and Director, the Crown, Bhubaneswar, Shri Debashish Patnaik. So before we begin with the inaugural ceremony, could I once again request everyone to please keep mobile phones in silent mode, but you should all remain in action mode. Please don't forget to tweet or post on social media regarding this conclave during the day. You can use the hashtag Chalo Dekhein Apna Desh and hashtag Chalo Dekhein Apna Desh. If on Facebook, you can tag our page argusnews.in, on Instagram argusnewsin, and on Twitter argusnews_in. In fact, a big round of applause. Our guests have already joined on stage, and I request all of them to please join us here to light the ceremonial lamp and begin the conclave. So, Pratipa Prajona Kari, Amo Visishta Atithi Brundon ko Anurod Karibi, Ajiro Karyakramaର ଶୁଭ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ପୁଣି ଥରେ ଜୋରଦାର କରତାଳି ସହ ସ୍ୱାଗତ କରନ୍ତୁ। ଆମ ସହିତ ଅଛନ୍ତି already ଆମ chief guest Padmashri Gopinath Swai, Director Department of Tourism, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Priti Srivastava, Pro Vice Chancellor, KIT University, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Tapan Panda, Director, the Crown, Bhubaneswar, Shri Debashish Patnaik, along with Editor-in-Chief, Argus News, Shri Sanjay Jana, and CEO, Argus News, Shri Prakash Sahu. I'll request everyone to please join us on stage, and we'll request also all of them to light the ceremonial lamp. That is how we do it, for an auspicious beginning to this conclave. धन्यवाद आमर सबु विशिष्ट अतिथि वृंदों को. The traditional way to begin any conclave and the auspicious way as well. May I now request everyone to please rise for the state anthem, Bande Utkala Janani. Thank you, everyone. As is the customary practice, may I now request Shri Sanjay Jena, Editor-in-Chief, Argus News, to welcome all our esteemed guests on dais with bouquets. To our chief guest, eminent Krishna Leela performer, Padma Shri Gopinath Swai. To the Director, Department of Tourism, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Priti Srivastava. Pro Vice Chancellor, KIT University, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Tapan Kumar Panda. And to Director, the Crown Bhubaneswar, Shri Debashish Patnaik. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 successful editions, this is the 3rd edition of Argus Tourism Conclave, Chalo Dekhein Apna Desh. And we have an audio visual that gives you better insights about this conclave today. Let's take a look at it.
Argus News. The leading and the fastest growing satellite news channel from Odisha has come to be known as a responsible and fearless leader in the world of news. It continues to win the hearts of Odias across the state and the world.
जलसेचन प्रकल्प विस्थापित होती 16टी गाँव लोके किंतु ये विस्थापित समस्या बढ़ी बढ़ी जाउची।
निर्भीक सांबादिकता आम संकल्प आमे दौ साधारण जनता मौलिक समस्या को गुरुत्व
तर्क वितर्क विश्लेषण आर्गस न्यूज टीआरपी रो दौड़रे नुहे।
With a large Argus family of viewers, Argus stands for conviction, credibility and consistency. As the most technologically advanced news channel in Odisha, Argus is armed with state-of-the-art technology such as real-time 3D graphics, sports analysis and asset management tool. Through virtual reality, teleporting and augmented reality, Argus has opened unlimited possibilities and is creating a new experience. Argus has highly modern newsrooms and studios. The team at Argus is made up of over 200 professionals comprising journalists, reporters, technicians and others. Argus provides news from every corner of Odisha and the world. It has a host of popular programs that are the choice of households across Odisha. It also goes beyond television programming by initiating several conclaves on a wide range of subjects such as education, agriculture, tourism, health, women empowerment and more. It brings together domain experts, influencers, policymakers and industry leaders to discuss and plan the future. Argus is broadcast round the clock on all leading channels. It also has a strong presence in social media and engages a large audience. In the urban 15+ age group, the potential buyers from any family are well connected to Argus. It has a cumulative reach of 14.02% and has the second highest FCT consumption among Odia news channels. Argus News. The curtain has risen, the journey has begun.
right? The journey has begun, and with conviction, credibility, and consistency. So I would now take this opportunity to request Sri Sanjay Jana, Editor-in-Chief, Argus News, to deliver the welcome address.
अर्गस्र एक दिवसीय कॉन्क्लेव को मंचासीन थिबा पद्मश्री गोपीनाथ स्वाई, उत्तर प्रदेश पर्यटन विभाग निर्देशिका मैडम प्रीति श्रीवास्तव, किट विश्वविद्यालय प्रोभिसी तपन कुमार पंडा एवं क्राउन ग्रुप मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर देवाशीष बाबू को स्वागत करुछि। बंधुगण, आपण माने जो माने आम ए कार्यक्रम रे जोग देइचंती समस्त को हृदय आपण को स्वागत करुछि। गणमाध्यमर काम खबर देखैबा माने लोकंक सुख दुख रे शामिल हवा, समाजर भल मंद को खबर आकार रे वितर्क आकार रे लोकमानक सामना रे उपस्थापित करिबा। डेमोक्रेसीर अर्थ मध्य विकास, विकास लोकंक पाखरे केते पहुंचिला केते न पहुंचिला ताकू लोकंक आखिरे परखिबार दायित्व मध्य गणमाध्यमर। बंधुगण, आमे आज टूरिज्म कॉन्क्लेव करूचु। राज्य रे देश रे पर्यटनर केमिति विकास हबो ता उपरे आमे आलोचना करूचु। देशर विकासर बड़ संदर्भ रे लोकमानक पाखरे रोजगार पहुंचीबा दरकार, राज्यर देशर अर्थनीति आगको बढ़िबा दरकार। जेमिति आउ 15टा क्षेत्रर भूमिका रही सेमिति पर्यटन क्षेत्रर मध्य गोटे गुरुत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही। देशर पर्यटन बढ़ू आउ राज्यर पर्यटन बढ़ू। जेतेबेले देश शपथ करिछि आगामी 5 वर्ष रे पृथ्वीर तृतीय बड़ अर्थनीति हबो। अमृत काल सरू सरू स्वाधीनतार 100 वर्ष पूर्ति सुद्धा भारत विश्वर 1 नंबर अर्थनीति हबो। सेतेबेले देशर प्रगति सांगरे ओडिशा भी पाद दे आगको बढ़िबा दरकार। ओडिशार अर्थनीतिर विकास हवा दरकार। अर्थनीतिर विकास माने राज्य राजकोष को केवल अर्थ जीवा नुहे, विकास प्रकृत अर्थ रे आमे एया को कहिबा जेतेबेले साधारण लोकंक पाखरे क्रय शक्ति अधिका हबो। लोक माने जेतेबेले रोजगार करिवे, लोक मानक पॉकेट को जेतेबेले पैसा जीवो, सेतेबेले विकासर गंगा समाजर तल स्तर पर्यंत पहुंचीबो। समस्त को खुशी लगुच। आमर एनएफएस अच्छी मागणार चाउल मिलूची, छता जोताठू सबु प्रकार मागणा योजना आम पाखे अच्छी। गोटे समृद्ध समाज एया को कहिबा जो समाजर परिवार माने निज रोजगार रे निजे चली पारिबे। हुए तो मागणा व्यवस्था किछि दिन पई आवश्यकता थाई पारे, किंतु लोकमानक पाखरे रोजगार पहुंचेबार जो माध्यम अच्छी से माध्यम भितरु सबुठू लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट बोध हुए पर्यटन। कम पैसा लगा, कम समय भितर लोकमानक पाखरे रोजगार रे ताकू कन्वर्ट कर। जेतेबेले आमे आम देश अमृत काल रे जाउची, आम देश स्वतंत्र उत्कल प्रदेश हबार 100 वर्ष पूरण करिबा पई आ 12 वर्ष बाकी अछि। सेतेबेले आमे आम पुरुषार्थ उपरे भरोसा करिबार समय आसीची। आमर परिश्रम उपरे भरोसा करिकी आम लोकंक पाखरे रोजगार पहुंचेबार व्यवस्था करिबार समय आसीची। जदि ओडिशार बजेट को आपण देखिबे, कम से कम 20 वर्ष हैला ओडिशार बजेट को मु कवर करिची। 25-30 वर्ष भितरे मु ओडिशार को ब्लॉक हेडक्वार्टर नहीं जोठी मु राति कटेनी आ लोकंक सुख दुख को देखिबा आ लेखिबारे मोर समय देइनी। एबे गुरुत्व होउची, आवश्यकता होउची आम बजेट रे जदि मेजर पैसा महाप्रभु जगन्नाथ जो खणी देइचंती ताकू बिकिकी आमे आमर बजेट को बड़ करूचु। लोक माननकु पैसा नहीं रोजगार तांकू साहाय्य आकार रे चाउल छता जोता कंबल दउचु। ये सुस्थ समाजर लक्षण नुहे। मु योजनार आलोचना करिबा पई एठी नाही, किंतु लोकमानक पाखरे रोजगार पहुंचू, लोकमानकर पॉकेट को पैसा आसु सेमाने तांको परिवार चलांतु ये हैला गोटे समृद्ध और सुस्थ समाज ये समृद्ध सुस्थ समाज गठन करबा पई पुरुषार्थर आवश्यकता अछि खणीरू बिकिकी आमे तो पैसा पाइबा किंतु आमर विभिन्न क्षेत्ररू रोजगार जो आवश्यकता अछि ता भितरे एक गुरुत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र होची टूरिज्म आमे भुवनेश्वर रे बसिचे कटक रे मु पढ़िला बेले जो अंचल रे आमे बुलुथलो 85 86 87 88 मसीह तेलेंगा पेंठ और तेलेंगा रिक्शा वाला सेमाने ओडिशा रे दादन खटिबा को आंध्र रु ओडिशा को आसीथिले समय आसिला सेमाने ओडिशा रु तांको देश को पळेले कारण तांको देश रे तांको भाषा रे तांको देश रे तांको रोजगार मिलिला तांको रोजगार कोठु मिलिला तांको रोजगार मिलिला कृषि रु मिलिला कृषि प्रक्रियाकरण रु मिलिला टूरिज्म रु मिलिला जेतबळे तांको गाँ रे तांको रोजगार मिलिला तांको दादन है कि कटक रे रिक्शा चलेबार आवश्यकता पड़िलानी ओडिया फिल्म रो जो कॉमेडी आंध्रर रिक्शा वालार सी भी आम फिल्म रु आस्ते आस्ते चली गला कारण ग्राउंड रियलिटी रे सेटा रहिलानी जेतबळे ओडिशार लोक माने विभिन्न राज्य रे परिश्रम करी कि झाळ निगाड़ी की तांको अर्थनीति को बड़ करुचंती आम राज्य रे जो संभावना अच्छी ताकू आमको एक्सप्लोर करिवार आवश्यकता रही से आह्वान को सामना करिवार आवश्यकता रही ये आह्वान भितरे जदि आमे टूरिज्म शिल्प को पर्यटन शिल्प को बड़ करिवा सहरांचल रे खाली नुहे ओडिशार रिमोट अंचल रे ओडिशा प्रकृति आमको खणी देइछि आमको जंगल देइछि आमको आदिवासी देइछि आमको पहाड़ देइछि आमको पर्वत देइछि आमको नेचर देइछि ताकू आमको आगो को नवा पाई आमे आज आलोचना करबा पाई बसिछे आम पाखरे तो महाप्रभु जगन्नाथ अछंती रिलीजियस टूरिज्म अछि आम पाखरे प्रकृति अछि आम पाखरे अनेक संभावना अछि जो संभावना को व्यवहार करी आमर अर्थनीति को बढ़ेबा जो अर्थनीति रे सरकार को पाखक तो किछि पैसा जीव किंतु अधिका पैसा लोकों को पॉकेट को आसीबो ए अपेक्षा सहित लोकों को पॉकेट को पैसा जाऊ ओडिशा अर्थनीति मजबूत हो 2036 मसीहा को जेतबळे ओडिशा 100 वर्ष हबो ओडिशा भारतर सबुठु अधिक आनिमिक राज्य नथिबो ओडिशार महिला मान रक्तहीनतार शिकार जदि 60% अछंती से स्थिति नथिबो आमर पिला माने जदि मालन्यूट्रिशन रो शिकार होचंती सेटा हेबेनी एटा जेतिकी एतिकी बेले संभव जेतेबेले रोजगार लोकंक पाखरे पहुंचीबो आ लोकंक पाखरे रोजगार पहुंचेबा पई पर्यटन एक बड़ भूमिका नहीं पारे आज जो अतिथि माने बसिचंती समस्तन को स्वागत करूची आम पाखरे जीवन व्यापी ओडिशार संस्कृति को आगो को नहीं पद्मश्री गोपीनाथ स्वाई मध्य अछंती ओडिशा पाखरे जो कला परंपरा अच्छी जो टेक्सटाइल अच्छी ये सबू पर्यटन अंग हो पारिबो ओडिशार अर्थनीति को मजबूत करि पारिबो आज गोटे दिन रे ए समस्त विषय उपरे आम आलोचना हबो ए आलोचना को मु समस्त को मंचासीन अतिथि मंच तले थिबा सबू महानुभव एवं विभिन्न टूरिज्म संक्रांत पाठ पढ़ुथिबा पिला मानकु समस्त को स्वागत करुची धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रीजुक्त जेना। Ladies and gentlemen, it was in 2022 that Argus News took the initiative to start this tourism conclave, taking inspiration from the Dekhein Apna Desh initiative launched by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to boost the tourism industry in the country. Today, as we celebrate the third edition, this conclave focuses on unlocking the potential of tourism in India, a sector which is on its way to boom after navigating the COVID pandemic. On that note, may I request Shri Prakash Sahu, CEO, Argus News, to present the keynote address.
Honorable Chief Guest for today's conclave, Centenarian Padmasri Gopinath Swami Babu, 100 वर्ष आपन को हेगला 100 वर्ष अधिक तमको आम सेंटेनेरियन कहूँ इंग्लीश रे तो तो सेटा गोटे आम समस्त गोटे शुणा और जानवा जिनस आपण आज आपणकर समय बाहर करी आम सांगे अच्छा से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आम अर्गस परिवार तरफ। अदर गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर मैडम श्रीमती प्रीति श्रीवास्तव जी, डॉक्टर तपन कुमार पंडा, श्री देबू पटनायक जी, and my colleague Sanjay Jaina ji. Other guests sitting in the audience, there are some many other important resource persons who will be delivering their talks in our upcoming sessions, plus my student friends and friends from media and my colleagues from Argus. Friends, we started this our channel, like my colleague Sanjay Jaina ji said, that he's got a lot of expression. Almost last 30 years he's into media, and he has seen, visited every nook and corner of the state and expressing his feelings, what we can do as a media platform, what are the issues. And we have taken up many programs connected to the common man of the society, and one of them is tourism. Like that, we have taken up agriculture, education, women empowerment, and many other programs. So why this program, tourism? Ma'am, with this channel started immediately after pandemic. During the pandemic, we was in the running process. Things got difficult. So just close our eyes and think for that kind of death, hospital, tension, anxiety, everything was there. So our process of forming this new channel was on. And Sanjay ji with a skeleton of team was trying to establish this organization with my colleagues. So when we started a project, when the first thing came to my mind, like Diksha also said in the beginning, this tourism is such a sector. I mean, it is evolving every day like any other sector, whether it is experiential tourism, agri-tourism, responsible tourism, and many other things. So we thought that this is the first thing we can take, starting from a small vendor, flower vendor at the temple shop near the corner of the street, to auto rickshaw wala, to taxi operators, to big airlines operators. Everything was standstill. So a lot of, anxiety, tension, and feeling of negativeness was there. So during 2021, we started our first project, is Chalo Dekhein Apna Desh, because Honorable Prime Minister just given the idea of let's start moving. People have started moving by road to different nearby points and other things. So we took this and organized the first conference in 2021. And after seeing almost participation from 12 states the first year, and getting response and sharing their experience, how post-pandemic the tourism, best tourism practices, the new things we can do. We got, inspiration, people encouraged us, it was appreciated by one and all. To take this program and make it as an annual event, the next year, that is last year, we have tourism topic with the theme rural tourism. And it's a very diversified segment, people from across, from every nook and corner, villages also participated there, from Odisha and outside Odisha. And this we made it as an annual event. Here we are today with the season 3, with our topic, like I said, unlocking the potential of tourism in India. Thank you, Diksha. You made my, job very simple. You have introduced that this is a very growing and evolving sector, I said. So everything, starting whether it is new terms and things are coming about our experiential tour, whether it is education tour, people from small places like Odisha, they don't know, they have a dream of going to IITs, IIMs and other things. Taking them to an educational tour to campus, it makes them, builds confidence within them. Agri-tourism, people, some of my friends in Odisha have started projects. People from big towns, cities, they are coming and staying in 5, 7 days, 10 days in rural villages, using bullock carts, spending time with the pond side thing, moving with the bird watching and other thing. So this, Sanjay ji said that it is a very easy, it is not easy. Devu bhai will not agree with me, it is not easy. I am involved with the tourism sector directly, indirectly for my clients like Uttarakhand Tourism, UP Tourism and Government of India Tourism. It is very difficult. But yes, one individual or a group of individuals in the near and dear, I mean places in their own locality, they can start earning something, and it is a sustainable thing. Given a proper support system, direction and handholding with a proper policy there laid down, we can do and more. Recently, few months before, 2 months before, I think Honorable Prime Minister appealed our big wedding spenders to make India as their wedding destination. Why go to Italy, Europe and other places, spend in the beaches and all? So come and spend your money. Even Indians are going abroad to spend the money. And it's big money, big fat money being spent. So if that money can come here in Ola, I mean, recently many people are coming from Delhi to have the marriage ceremony happening in Bhubaneswar, Puri and Gopalpur on sea. So I said, why? So there's a people, we have visited Goa and other places, we thought that this is a new place and a happening place, so they are coming here. Things are changing. So Honorable Prime Minister, the opportune movement has appealed people to only Indians if start spending their money in India and create new destinations, whether from skill development and capacity building or giving livelihood to people, many people, it can change the total scenario overall. Similarly, 2 days before, like Diksha said, Honorable Prime Minister has appealed NRIs to come and appealed them to Chalo India. Vapas aao, kuch milke karenge. So there cannot be, who else can be? I mean, he's from every activity, whether it is tourism or not tourism, it helps tourism in a way. Whether it is G20 movement happening across the country, in every state, every district, people from more than 80 countries coming and spending and moving in the country, the big exposure. So he's trying his best to put brand Bharat, that is India, in front of people, instilling a pride feeling amongst fellow Indians in India and abroad. And who can be a better brand ambassador than Honorable PM, who is trying his level best. So we are here, starting from young budding students. You can do a job, you can create entrepreneurs, you can become an entrepreneur and create employment opportunities also. Here are many entrepreneurs and big time, and my friend Professor, I mean, I have worked with him, Dr. Tapan Panda, is, I mean, from doing his marketing, brand building and everything from IIM and other places, he's here. So he's also handholding many incubation centers and guiding them. So together, if we can do a small bit, can Argus become a catalyst role in giving a boost to the total concept? So that's why we are here. Thank you throughout the day. I think we'll be having better, good, fruitful discussions and take something, have something to take away in the evening and make this conclave a success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sri Sahu, for setting the tone for the conclave ahead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us on stage Sri Debashish Patnaik, Director, The Crown, President, Thai Bhubaneswar, and founder, Dalma Group of Restaurants, who comes with decades of experience in tourism, hospitality industry, and entrepreneurship development. When people in India had no idea about Odia cuisine, he started Dalma and took a bold move to make Odia cuisine popular across the country. He has been actively involved in development of entrepreneurship in the state and promotion of Odisha as a business destination through the Forum Invest Bhubaneswar Connecting Odisha. An angel investor himself, he has also contributed towards fostering entrepreneurship amongst the youth of Odisha. I'll now request him for his address.
Good morning, Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Padma Shri Swami, other dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank you, Diksha, for your generous words about me. Half of it is not really exactly true, But anyways, coming back to the topic, before I start, let me first congratulate Argus News, because this is the only channel which has tried in its own way to promote tourism in the state and in the country. And this is not the first time I have been part of this Chalo Dekhein Apna Desh for the last 3 years, and I'm glad that they're doing religiously every year. So congratulations to Argus. Talking about, I was listening very intently to what CEO of Argus, dear Prakash, was talking about how our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has been working hard to make India a destination. And that reminded me of a very funny incident. You know, one of the reels that I saw in recent times, which was by a stand-up comedian. I will tell you in Hindi whatever he said, little bit, I can't copy it verbatim, but little bit that I remember. He said, क्या आदमी है यार, अकेला चला गया, एक चौकी लेके चला गया, दरिया किनारे बैठ गया, कुछ फोटो ले ली, सोशल मीडिया में छोड़ दिया, और उधर देखो एक द्वीप डूब गया. See, that is the power of a head of the state trying to promote tourism, which has not really happened earlier. My topic today is not talking about, how to do tourism, where to do tourism, how we do experiential tourism, how we increase the inflow, what is the number of people that are going to come, or what is how the post-COVID the numbers have gone up. I'm not going to talk about that today. I am talking about the concern or the priority that the government, both in our case, in fact, the state government has gone ahead from a 4 crore budget to a 1500 crore budget on tourism. This effort has to percolate down to the grassroots level. You must have heard about PPP mode. What is a PPP mode? Public-private partnership. That is the PPP mode we commonly know. Mitravanu is here, he is a master in PPP efforts or initiatives. But in my case, I think in tourism, PPP stands for people, people and people. Unless we involve the common man, unless each one of the Indian community understand the priority of tourism, unless each person realizes the advantages of a tourist coming into our country, tourism will not succeed. As Mr. Jena was saying, tourism has been, what we look or what we want is employment. And everybody knows that tourism is one of the major employer in the service sector. But one needs to know, the common man needs to know, common man needs to understand that when a tourist is coming, he is coming for a day or he is coming for 2 days, and in these 2 days he is spending, let's say, 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees, and this 1 lakh rupees is actually percolating to my income or my brother's income or my son's income. When we are talking of experiential tourism, we need to take it beyond the standard Puri Konark, Agra Jaipur, and make them reach to the grassroots, where there will be two benefits. One is there will be employment and there will be the income. So financial growth, contribution to the economy, as well as we will have employment for our people. This can only happen when we make the people understand how important is tourism. You go to a place like Kerala. Kerala, the people know that each tourist that is coming into the state is contributing some way or other to my income. So he welcomes the tourist. That kind of welcome has to be there everywhere, every state, every city, and going down to every village. Then only tourism in India will grow, or tourism in India will flourish. I had the opportunity of interacting with some travel agents in Delhi, and they mentioned to me one thing. They said that when a tourist is coming, they want to see a village life. But in Odisha, we are not getting any village where we can take the tourist. We have not tried that. There is no model village. Or there are, why one village? Each village can be a model village for the tourists to come in and spend some days and experience the village life. What is the real India? Real India is not Taj Mahal. Real India is not Konark. Real India is not, let's say, Jaipur. So, coming back to the basic, we need involvement of people. Priority should be to make the people understand how tourism is going to benefit. And my request to all present here, as well as to the organizers, is that to involve and propagate it in such a way that each Indian will openly welcome the tourist that is coming to his area, not necessarily foreign tourist, the local tourist also. Somebody coming from Nagaland and visiting Bhubaneswar, or somebody coming from Goa and visiting West Bengal, should be equally welcomed. Then only our tourism can grow. Thank you. I have taken a lot of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think very well said that every Indian has to become a stakeholder in the tourism sector. Then the tourism can eventually grow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are also very happy to have with us Dr. Tapan Kumar Panda, Pro Vice Chancellor at KIT University, Bhubaneswar, who comes with close to 3 decades of experience, having worked with premium business schools in India as Professor of Marketing. He has taught and trained senior executives in the area of marketing, branding, advertising, customer relationship management, life skills. He's also authored 20 books and numerous articles on management, traveled to different parts of the world for research and training, consulted some of the leading brands in the country. He has also extensively done campaigning for Department of Tourism, Government of India. It'll be a privilege to now request him to address the gathering.
नमस्कार मंचरे बसिथिबा समस्त अतिथि मनंकु अभिनंदन and I would like to thank Mr. Prakash Sahu for inviting me. We had a meeting after almost 3 decades. We had very recent conversations. I would like to divide my talk into 3 parts, and I'll use 3 languages to speak to all of you because it's also going through Oriya channel. I'll take up first the questions which were raised by our editor of Argus News, that what is a welfare nation and how we should look at a welfare nation and where does tourism come into that part of it. I think as a business professor, we teach this to our students, that welfare nation has nothing to do with competitiveness. Competitiveness कोडियारे प्रतियोगिता मूलक प्राधान्य बोली कहा जाए. तो गोटे welfare नेशन उपर भाविबे कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस संगे ताहार किछि संपर्क नाही. जो कथाटा से रेज कले जे आमे जतिक रेवेन्यू आमर आसुची ताकू लोक मानकर मंगल पई आमे खर्च करछे, लोक मानकू विभिन्न प्रकार सुविधा सुयोग दउचे. गोटे हाइजेनिक फैक्टर थाए. हाइजेनिक फैक्टर देश स्वाधीन होबार 10 वर्ष 15 वर्ष 20 वर्ष भितर शेष हो जिवा कथा. मनीष माने सक्षम होबा कथा, तांकर प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़िबा कथा, से निजे निजे जिनस करदवा कथा. 50 वर्ष 70 वर्ष पर्यंत से व्यवस्थाटा रहिबा उचित नुहे. ता देशर मंगल करे नाही. ताले मंगल करिया पे हेले जदि प्रतियोगितामूलक प्राधान्य आपण न देखिबे ताले आपण कोन देखिबा दरकार, जाको इंग्रजी रे हम प्रोडक्टिविटी बोली कहूछु. प्रोडक्टिविटी 2 प्रकार बढ़ी पारिबो. गोटे प्रकार प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ी पारिबो आपण जेतबेले मशीन को यूज करिवे आ कम समय भितर मशीन प्रोड्यूस करिवो, प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़िबो. द्वितीय पार्टटा है जो लोक मैंने कम कर स्किल को जदि बढ़ेबे ताहले प्रोडक्टिविटीटा बढ़िबो. जदि आपण देखिबे एई सरकार केंद्र सरकार गला 5-10 वर्ष रे जो फोकस रही सेटा द्वितीय भाग रे फोकस रही आमे किपरि लोक मानकर स्किल को बढ़े परिबा. लोक मानकर स्किल बढ़िले जो जेति कि सेमानकर श्रम व्यय होथिला कम समय रे कम श्रम व्यय करिके से माने अधिक केमति कर पारिबे. काने यूएलसी बोली जो कांसेप्ट हमर अछि यूनिक लेबर कॉस्ट, productivity, competitiveness or unique labor cost भितर गोटे relationship अच्छी. Example, we can take an example. Let's look at America. Everybody always benchmarks with America. So in America, the country is very productive but not competitive because the unit labor cost is very high. The cost of hiring an employee for a certain period of time in dollar terms is very high. But if you look back to China, which almost we benchmark with China everything, and there are certain components, good or bad, we have overtaken China in that part. You will find out their ULC is under control because it is a communistic nation. They have controlled their unique labor cost. That's why their productivity is higher. The reason being the competitive, they have been able to be competitive in the world there. So welfare nations are not necessarily competitive nations. And for the first time when you are skilling people, then you understand that by skilling people, you would like to increase the productivity of the nation, though you can provide a support as far as welfare is concerned. You cannot really call yourself a military economy or autocratic systems where you can say there is no welfare required for growth of a nation, particularly a populated nation like India. So it has to be a balance between productivity and competitiveness, and since we are into a multi-party democratic system, you cannot have an ULC other than you are giving them a support. This is the answer to the question. I agree with you, the point that you have raised. The focus of governance strategy should be on increasing the productivity of the people and increasing the skill of the people that we have got there. Let's talk about tourism next. तो बहुत वर्ष तले गोटे बही रे मु पढ़ी गोटे जक्ष अभिशाप पाई इंद्रता को अभिशाप देइथिले. से जक्ष अभिशाप पाई कि पृथ्वी को आसथिला. तो से आसिकी मु आईएम कोरिकोड रे भी पढ़ौथिली. That was my second campaign I ran on India tourism when I was working. First I did the work for Kerala tourism and then for India tourism. से जक्ष आसिकी बोधवे कालिकट जो मु रोली आपण जानते कालिकट पाखरे प्रथम मौसुमी आसे सही भूमि को छुए मौसुमी आ पूरा सहर अंधार हो जाए से समय पूरा अंधार हो जाए जो वर्षा आसे से जक्षटी गोटे पहाड़ उपर बसला आ पहाड़ उपर बसिकी मेघ को प्रार्थना करुला आपण मैंने कालिदासंकर मेघदूतम पढ़ी से मेघ को प्रार्थना करुला से मेघ को से प्रार्थना भितर से कहूँ जे भारतर कौ कौ जगार कौ कौ मंदिर अच्छी कौ कौ देवता पूजा पाँच से जगार से प्रार्थना कर तुम्हें वर्षा हो वर्षा हो गले मोर पाप कम हो तेणु तुम्हें जो हिमालय पहुँचब आ निजर अस्तित्व हरइब से मोर सबू पाप शेष हो जाइथिबो और मुक्ति मिल जाव मु स्वर्ग को जीवी ए उदाहरण दबार अर्थ है जे प्रिडोमिनेंटली इंडियन टूरिज्म इज रिलीजियस टूरिज्म सो इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टुडे लेट्स से लीजर टूरिज्म स्पोर्ट्स टूरिज्म एडवेंचर टूरिज्म बट बाय नेचर बाय डिजाइन वी आर रिलीजियस टूरिज्म पीपल यार इफेक्टा केते सुंदर भाव में अयोध्या को ग्रो कर दिया गला जमती आप क्रिकेट रे आईपीएल देखिले एबे सेमती आउ गोटे एग्जांपल है अयोध्या आपण मैंने देखिथिबे अयोध्या रे राम मंदिर प्रतिष्ठा हैला परे आउ किछि न हो रियल एस्टेट प्राइस बहुत बढ़ी जाइछि बड़ बड़ कंपनी माने सेठी होटल खोलिया पे प्लान करूछंती सेटा गोटे टूरिज्म डेस्टिनेशन हबारे जाउछि या पछरे आपनको आपनकर इतिहास को तर्जमा करिया को पड़िबो जेते थर आपण बाह्य आक्रमण शिकार होती मु देवदत्त पट्टनायक सांगरे काम करे प्रतीक एठी बसछि से भी काम करे देवदत्त पट्टनायक सांगरे जेते थर भारत बाह्य आक्रमण सामना करिछि सेमाने आसी कोनोसी राजनहर लुटि नाहंती सेमाने आसी मंदिर लुटिछंती इवन भारत वर्ष रे भी जेतेबेले लुटा लुटी होउछि एबे तो ओडिसा रे लुटिबा कथा पडुछि किंतु ओडिसा रे लुटिबार अभ्यासटा भी बहुत पुराना आपण मान जानि नथिबे जगन्नाथ देशर कथा बही रे मु आ देवदत्त पट्टनायक लिखिछु पुरी मंदिर को लुटी थे जड़े तमिल राजा 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 चोल से को लुटिकी नहीं चारि थर आक्रमण कर इतिहास केवल गुजरात रो मंदिर लुटी होता बोली कहती किंतु आपन जदि इतिहास को पढ़े ताले जानवे गोटे समर काव्य अच्छी से समर काव्य राजा राजा चोल केमती आसिकी कलिंग आक्रमण कर पुरी मंदिर को लुंठन कर सार कहानी लिखाई देहरे हिंदू राजा हिंदू मंदिर को लुटिबार कथा कहीं से शिवर भक्त थे आ जगन्नाथ वैष्णव मानकर तेणु से जो कन्फ्लिक्ट तमिलनाडु थिला सेटा इठू को आसी तेणु टेम्पल इकोनॉमी वाज ए की ड्राइवर इन इंडिया एज फार एज ग्रोथ ऑफ हिस्टोरिकल ग्रोथ ऑफ टूरिज्म इज कंसर्न सो मोस्ट ऑफ द सिटीज इन इंडिया हैव ग्रोन बिकॉज देयर वर टेम्पल्स right there are in the subsequent part probably you will find out there are cities which have grown because of political reasons for example Cuttack has no religious sentiment involved it was an economic and political destination political because there was a palace there and economic destination because there was a river and most of the transportation and trade was happening on the river that's why it's one of the key places for that matter you look at Banaras you look at Allahabad you look at Puri all these places there are temples and the economy grew around the temples and urbanization happened around the temples over a period of time because of British dominion here we started neglecting our temples and we thought probably we can build up alternative destination for that matter. Today, in last 10-15 years period of time, I think we have gone back to our roots and you have started looking at that destinations which was most popular destination. भारत रे होची कण जेतबेले पिलग्रिमेज टूरिज्म रो कथा कह जाउची if you look at in terms of volume of number of people traveling within the country highest number of people travel for pilgrimage tourism but pilgrimage tourism is also look at गरीब लोक बस रे बसी के जिबे धर्मशाला रे रहिबे अल्प पैसा खर्च करिवे there is a paradigm shift happening there paradigm shift religious people are making trips even today also if you look back how many people have flown to Ayodhya a large chunk of those people are either upper class or upper middle class which have moved into so there has been a repositioning of religious tourism if that happens in the country you can identify there will be multiple destinations on which tourism can be promoted because we have a heritage which can be promoted there. I teach at a school called Bordeaux. If you don't know where is Bordeaux, Bordeaux is in south of France. So Bordeaux is known for the war. During Second World War, 60,000 people were killed. So when you go find out 60,000 coffins of similar size there. But Bordeaux is also one of the nations of the world for wine tourism. Best quality of the wine is available in Bordeaux there. So French tourism department has identified specific, domain-specific tourist destinations and have promoted them in that way. If you go to a city of Nice, which is beautiful as such, or to Paris, which has got monuments, versus a city of Bordeaux, which doesn't have anything but have statues, then you will identify they have done. So what is required from a national tourism planning? We need to look at regional tourism planning. My experience while working at IIM Lucknow, I was just talking to madam that I started my career at IIM Lucknow post my PhD. I was given an assignment with urban planning department to decongest tourist destinations. This is an antithesis to what we talk today that have more number of people visiting tourist destinations, but they wanted us to work decongestion of tourist destinations so that people can have smooth flow of transportation. That was my first assignment that I handled. Subsequently, when I moved to Kozhikode, I did campaign, Northeast campaign I wrote, and then I wrote also Kerala campaign for that. So what is required? Let me come to that part and conclude my conversations. What is required in this part? आमे जितले सबु छोट थिले पुरी मंदिर विषय शिवंक विषय दुर्गांक विषय काहाठु शुणुले अंधार राति रे आम अजा आई जेजेपा जेजेमा से सब कहानी आमको शुणुले आमे जितले बड़ होतले सेतले आम मनरे गोटे इच्छा थिला अरे अरे बनारस रे एमती उठला कालीस थिले मते देखिवा दरकार आमर फैमिली सिस्टमटा ब्रेक हे जिवा द्वारा से कहानी आ पासन हे पारुनी एपर्यंत से कहानी पासन हे पारुनी तार समस्यार समाधान हे पारिबो आमे दुई प्रकार विषय चिंता करछे फर्स्ट वी आर थिंकिंग दैट हाउ डू वी रियली लुक एट फॉरेन ट्रैवलर्स कमिंग टू इंडिया but you understand there are people who are willing to travel in the country domestic tourism so if we can really generate a good domestic tourism strategy then probably we will make more money from that system than expecting foreigners to travel to our country. Now where have we failed in that approach? Why we could not transfer that generation of knowledge and wealth from one generation to the other generation? Today why our children are not interested to travel for that matter? They are hooking up into their internet or YouTube, all those channels. The basic reason being tourism is not a matter of discussion or matter of subject in the courses which are being taught. I strongly feel if tourism can be a subject at the school level that can talk to the children, not as part of history, not as a part of geography, but as a subject of tourism, I think there will be an interest among the children to go and know the places, and when they grow up, they can study that part. Further step to that, I have recommended that today we have got a credit system. The new national education policy talks about credit system. Why not to give 1 week 2 credit to the students? They don't have to sit down in board of secondary educations and appear an exam and pass. But during the course, they should go 1 week and travel a destination, write down or do the journaling part of it and explain their experiences about that destination. If that can be done, we can initiate or trigger that method by which people can be interested. Now the third suggestion for me is to look at technology. So how do you really build up experiential technology for that matter? I understand there is something called augmented reality and virtual reality. You may not be at the place, but you can create that part. For example, when I was in Beijing and I traveled to the palace, before I traveled to the palace, they put me into one room and then they had taken me through augmented reality, the whole of the palace, give me a small brief about the palace. The reason being most of the guides were Chinese and I don't understand Chinese for that matter. But it was possible that I could experience and then they gave me a booklet and I could sit through. So there is something called metaverse. I don't know how many of you know that part. In metaverse is a digital world which is a combination of virtual reality, virtual and the real, both of them together. If tourism department can focus and create metaverse which can be on the cloud and our children or people those who are interested instead of visiting to the destination at no cost can go and see the place, I think there will be desire for people to travel for that matter. Today I understand that tourism department does exhibitions, conventions, conferences, but these are perishable products. Once the exhibition is over or the convention is over, nobody continues to do that part. Reinforcement is more important for that behavioral change. So it is possible if we can use augmented reality, virtual reality and look at metaverse as a method, we can work out on that part. And the final part, it may sound like a bit controversial, but final part, there are 3 things for a successful program. First part is the propaganda or the communication or communicating the idea to the people, which is easy because that comes from a visionary. The second part, the strategy, how to do that part, which is a bit more difficult. And the third part is execution part of it. So it's nice for us to interact on this way, but what the tourist takes it back is the experience. Doesn't matter whether it's a temple experience or to an industrial tour or he goes to a village, that experience matters there. So somebody definitely will create a vision, and our Prime Minister is a visionary who has done that part. But I expect that both public and private people should sit together. The PPP was the idea that he was talking about. They can work together a strategy, a sustainable strategy for that matter. And execution is very important. And that is where I think skill, entrepreneurship and tourism can work together to create an executional plan, and they can execute that part. Recently I was doing some work on the health tech space. Then I said that let's create an entrepreneur in every panchayat, and how many health workers are there and how many amount of money we can generate. It was a diagnostic business conversation. Similarly, if we can create a tech-savvy tourist entrepreneur at a panchayat level who uses a hub and spoke model and does community-based tourism, I think we can create more number of employment opportunity for the people. We should not look up to large investments or large entrepreneurs like Mr. Patnaik for a massive proposition or potential like tourism. We should go back and democratize the idea of entrepreneurship and build small-time sustainable entrepreneurs, because the number of job requirements are very high and no government can really provide those number of jobs on a sustainable period of time. That is why you have to think alternative and look into that part of it, because finally that experience is more important. And how do you build that experience? If the experience is bad, all that strategy you have made, all the campaigns that I wrote, all those money which has been spent on television, all are waste. Now, once you democratize the process and train people to build that experience and sustain that experience, then there will be a flow in the process and people will be more interested for traveling. Because as such, by nature, we are nomads. Isn't it? Like all other animals, we are nomads. We are more intelligent only other animals because our intestine length is smaller than other animals. I was told that an elephant takes 14 hours for full stomach eating and digestion, and we take 5 to 10 minutes for doing that part. Since we have this intelligence and we can utilize this intelligence and look back to an economic system which is sustainable, and then we'll be successful there, because I understand tourism is a smokeless business and it has the highest potential for creating more number of jobs compared to others, because manufacturing or services, either they use machines or they use technical manpower. But tourism, just by changing the mindset, making people oriented towards their customers, will make it successful. But more important, when you go back, think over this last question of mine. पुराना काल जदि घर को किए आसुला आम कहते बंधु आसी बोली, एबे जदि आसिले आम कहूँ गेस्ट आसी बोली। गेस्ट ओडिया अनुवाद बंधु नुहे। तेणु ये जो बंधु आउ गेस्ट जो फरकटा रहा, जो दिन से आम फुलफिल कर दे पारिबा, गेस्ट को बंधु भाया देखिपर, बंधु माने कुटुंबर लोक, से दिन आम सक्सेसफुल हवा बोली मु भावुची। सो आइडिया ऑफ ए वेस्टर्न थॉट लाइक टूरिस्ट और ए गेस्ट इज नॉट a pure idea. We have to bring back to our Indian ideas of who a guest is or who a bandhu is. The day you have a bandhu, the experience or anubhuti of the bandhu becomes more important for you than anything else. I hope the 4 or 5 key points that I have talked about will guide the thinkers, those who are present here. And let's plan it out and promote Odisha tourism and national tourism in a bigger way, so that a lot of people travel and see this world, because this is only one life that we have got. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Sri Panda, for your valuable insights, particularly pertaining to the role of technology in tourism and, of course, the concept of coming back to our roots. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed privileged to have with us today Ms. Priti Srivastava, Director Tourism, Uttar Pradesh, who has over 30 years of experience of working with Department of Tourism, Government of Uttar Pradesh in various capacities. She is constantly engaged in promoting and facilitating tourism in the region, be it by developing basic infrastructure facilities at tourist destination, showcasing new destination, exploring new tourism circuits, developing and promoting new innovative tourism products, creating awareness and tourism consciousness among people and the industry. She is actively engaged in analyzing and monitoring tourism trends, requirements and expectations in the region, and particularly has been emphasizing on conservation, preservation of art, culture and heritage of the state. But before we request her to address this wonderful gathering, we have an audio visual that we would like all of you to take a look at. right. A big round of applause as I invite Ms. Priti Srivastava to address this wonderful gathering.
This small film has set the tone of what I need to speak about Uttar Pradesh. I'm thankful to August News Channel, who's given us this opportunity to present before you. Now, what all of you, especially the students, did you recognize where was our Honorable Prime Minister and the Chief Minister of UP standing? Do you recognize where were they? Yeah. So this was the newly developed Kashi Vishwanath corridor. Now we have been talking like what happened during COVID period, the pandemic. The tourism industry was the worst hit. The hotels had no business. The tour operators, the tourists were not coming in. So there was hardly any business. And a lot of people from all walks of life are associated with tourism. So they all had bad days. But then something happened and the entire scenario of tourism has changed in Uttar Pradesh. Our Honorable Prime Minister and our Chief Minister. During the pandemic, the thought came because tourists were not coming, temples were closed. Let's redo the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now, as you see what happens, traditionally in our temples, they are not very clean. They are not very accessible. आप मंदिरों में जाते हैं, गंदगी, धक्का मुक्की. This was the scene with most of our places. But then, our Prime Minister, who's a visionary, he realized this. And he decided to make it a clean and a decent place so that everybody gets a beautiful experience of visiting the temple. So he came up with the idea of Kashi Vishwanath corridor. If some of you must have visited it in earlier days, there used to be narrow lanes, गलियों से होकर जाना होता था, जिनमें गंदगी और सकरे रास्ते, भीड़ भाड़, धक्का मुक्की सब कुछ होती थी. हमने वहां आसपास के लगभग 300-400 मकानों को खरीदा. We bought them, we resettled them somewhere else. We opened the entire places. Now there is no lane, no gully, nothing. A huge, beautiful corridor exists, which you have seen in the this short clip. People can go and have a very beautiful darshan at the temple. There are beautiful food courts. There's an exhibition center. There are halls. There can be religious activities in the temple. Then we've made another SS from the river Ganga side, the Ganga Dwar. You can reach the temple because the roads are very narrow. The roads are from the older days. There's a huge traffic congestion in Varanasi. So now we've made another route. You go to the ghats, End Ghat, Namo Ghat, which is created again by the Honorable Prime Minister's vision. From Namo Ghat, you can take a boat or a cruise and you can come and disembark right behind the Kashi Vishwanath temple at the Ganga Dwar. And you can go and visit the temple and come back by the same route without experiencing any kind of traffic congestion. So now what happened because of this corridor? The entire scenario of tourism has changed in Varanasi. 2021, the temple, the corridor, newly built corridor got inaugurated in the month of December. Now the year 2022, we had, from January to December, we had 7 crore tourists in Varanasi. Can you imagine 7 crore tourists? And this is no guesstimate. This is an actual figure. How does it come? We have put head count machines on all the 4 gates. There are 4 entry points of the temple. There are head count machines on all gates. So we get the actual number, how many heads are coming in, how many are going out. 1% of them can be subtracted. They may be the priests, the policemen, or the regular people. But then rest of all are tourists. Now what has this brought to the city of Varanasi? All the hotels are full. It is a major difficult task today to get a room in Varanasi. Their advance bookings 6 months in advance. We have got a whole lot of, no less than 100 hotels in Varanasi. A huge number, another 100 homestays. But then, accommodation is still short. Now, the coming in of tourists is bringing all the benefits which occur when tourism activity takes place. The flower sellers who are sitting outside the temple, their earning per day, their earning is from 40,000 to 70,000. Can you imagine? A flower seller is earning to this tune, the prasad walas, the e-rickshaw walas, because the transport like cars and all cannot go to the temple. They have to park a kilometer before it. So people take e-rickshaws. So the e-rickshaw pullers, the boatmen, they are all benefiting. So the benefits of tourism are going to all walks of life. Every person who is engaged in any kind of touristic activity in the city of Varanasi is benefiting by this inflow of tourists. Now this experiment was so successful, and now the year 2023, the 7 crore tourists has now converted into 13 crore tourists. We had more than 13 crore tourists in the year 2020-23. And this figure is going to increase even more. Now this experiment gave, this was a very, very successful experiment, and then it was copied in Madhya Pradesh, and the Ujjain corridor came up, Mahakal corridor came up. And again, a very, very successful model. Now we have realized the importance of making our religious places clean and presentable. Very near to Varanasi is Mirzapur. I don't know how many of you know, it is the seat of Vindhyavasini Devi. It is one of the Shakti Peeths. So we have building another corridor there. In the coming Navratri, it will be inaugurated. We bought 400-500 houses around it. It was again a place very congested, narrow lanes and pandas and pujaris, or it was difficult for the tourists to come. Now they're all wiped out. Places cleaned. Their properties have been purchased. They have been relocated, rehabilitated, and a beautiful corridor is coming up in Vindhyachal. This will again draw tourists. The people who are coming to Varanasi will also go to Vindhyachal. Similarly, we are building another corridor in Saharanpur, Shakumbhari Devi. That is another Shakti Peeth. So similar corridor is coming up in Shakumbhari Devi. We are working for betterment of Naimisharanya. And Ayodhya, of course, Ayodhya is going to be the biggest destination for at least coming 10-20 years. People world over would like to come and visit the Ram Mandir at least once in a lifetime. So Ayodhya is not going to look back now. And what is happening with the tourists coming into Ayodhya? Ayodhya was a very sleepy, small town. I have been posted twice in Ayodhya, once in 1999, the year 1999, and again in 2005. Can you imagine that time it was very difficult to get 100-gram Amul butter there. This was the scene. There were hardly any restaurants. Now today Ayodhya is going to be entirely transformed. A new Ayodhya is coming up. All sorts of, not only the Ram Mandir, all sorts of modern amenities. Like today all hotel groups are wanting land in Ayodhya. Somebody just said the prices have shooted like anything. No land is available. So now what is going to happen? Ayodhya, which was earlier very less visited by tourists because of the connectivity reasons, now is going to be the focal point of tourism in the state of Uttar Pradesh. What is going to be the result of this development? Lucknow. The people are going to come to Lucknow and start their journey from Lucknow. So Lucknow in any case is the state capital and has all kind of amenities. Lucknow is going to prosper. From Lucknow they'll come to Ayodhya, but not stop at Ayodhya. Further they'll go to Prayagraj, the city of the holy Sangam. From Prayagraj to Varanasi. Some may also go to Chitrakoot. So now this entire circuit is going to be prosperous and filled with tourists. And then the eastern UP, which was a little like western UP is always more developed and more opportunities. But eastern UP was a little less developed with lesser number of opportunities. Now this tourism is going to change the scene of the economy of eastern Uttar Pradesh. So this is what tourism does. So this was a small, I just gave you a bit of idea. I would endorse the view of Mr. Panda when he said tourism should be part of our studies. It should be a subject. It's a complete science. I have been delivering lectures in various universities, and I find like tourism, like children think, what is tourism? Tourism, ghumna firna, isme kya hai? It's not that. Tourism is a complete science. And when you study it like a subject from your childhood, then you are sensitized. You understand the importance of tourism, what tourism can do, how it can affect the life, how it can affect the economy, how can it affect the infrastructure of the cities. So I support the view, tourism should be a subject and should be taught like all other subjects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for your wonderful insights. And no wonder that is why they say, Uttar Pradesh nahi dekha, to India nahi dekha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are today truly honored to have the esteemed presence of Padma Shri recipient Shri Gopinath Swami. The maestro has not just lived and breathed Krishna Leela, the centenarian singer has singularly preserved it for the posterity. For someone who fell in love with Krishna Leela and took it to singing and performing at the age of 5, Padma Shri Shri Swami has dedicated close to 100 years of his life to this art form and improvised it so that he can connect with generation after generation. The humble man from Ganjam's Govindpur village went on talent hunts and established akhadas where he passed on the knowledge to hundreds of students spanning across geography and time. A true guru, a living legend and flag bearer, non-parallel of Odisha's traditional art form, we can only bow to his passion and dedication in reverence. Odisar Garba or Gauraba hele Satayo Kalakar Padma Shri Gopinath Swami लोकनाटक कृष्ण लीला पाई निज जीवन को उत्सर्ग करिथिबा एही संगीतकार 5 वर्ष बयसरु एही लोककला प्रति आकृष्ट होइथिले एवं सह सह पिलांकु कृष्ण लीला शिक्षा प्रदान करी एही लोकनाटक को आगामी पीढ़ी पाई वर्तमान जाई जीवित रखी आसीचंती तांकर एही उद्यम पाई राज्य और देश चिर कृतज्ञ रहिबो। वर्तमान अनुरोध करबी श्रीयुक्त गोपीनाथ स्वाई को तांको अभिभाषण आम समस्तक सामना रे रखिबा पाई जोरदार करसाई सह तांको स्वागत करंतु।
हरिओ ओम जगन्नाथाय ते नमः कृष्णाय ते नमः रघुनाथाय ते नमः सीतापते श्री राम जय जय राम 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 हरि ओम हरिनाम सर्वभूत प्रकटित भजनं ज्ञानवंत प्रबोधं माया विरचित दयामय कृतं पाषाण उद्धारितं भक्तानां तारयितं सुधार विघातं संथाति पालहितं तन्देव परमेश्वराय भजतं मंगलम हरि हरि प्रभु ये गंजाम जिला गोपीनाथ स्वामी गोविंदपुर ग्राम प्रभुंकर चरणे निवेदन मोर अनुकंपा दया करी दुख शुणिबे हे नारायण 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 परित्राणायं साधूनां विनाशाय सुदुष्कृतं धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय शुभवानि युगे युगे हरिनारायण नारायण हरिनारायण हरिनारायण नारायण नारायणं वन्दे श्री गुरु चरणारविंदे अज्ञाननाशाय विमुख्यनाशिराय संतमाय महात्मने श्री गुरवे नमस्ते हरिनारायण नारायण 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 हरि वंदे नारायण प्रतित कारण वंदे नंद वंदे श्री नंद नंद परारविंदम दलित स्वतदल मंजुलनायन दरिद्र दुख नाशन हरिये आपण माने शुणु मोर जन्म बहुत दिन जन्म छिला किते वर्ष 106 वर्ष पूर्व मोर बाल्यकाले बापा माँ विद्या साधना कले शिखेले तापर मो 10 वर्ष समय हो जाए कृष्णलीला नाच शिखेले कहीं ना बापा मो दादा मोर कृष्णलीला मास्टर थे साके गाई पारती जश करती आम बोली मत शिक्षा कले पाठ पढ़िले कृष्णलीला नाच शिखेले बाटे बहुत सुंदर नाच करी काल भल गाई पारि नाच कर बापा श्रद्धा है दादा नहीं गुरु मान शिक्षा देले अन्य गुरु मान शिक्षा दे नहीं बहुत प्रशंसा अर्चन से बहुत गाँ लोक मत वरुण कर डाकी ने बाल्यरू का या तर पर मत 15 वर्ष टाइम कि मत गुरु कर ठिया गले पदा गाँ लोक मैंने प्रत्येक गाँव में आम जात नीति जात टाइम प्रत्येक गाँव में जात नीति जात हेले मत डाकी नि बहुत आमको गंजाम जिले में प्रत्येक गाँ को मुझे जाए नाट कर पार्टी धरिकी नाट कर 30-40 पार्टी नाट शिखई थी अन्य गाँव मानक मत बहुत जश पौरस अर्जिली बहुत ना कले बहुत विद्या शिखेली बहुत टका पैसा रोजगार मोर गरीब गरीब पिला जड़े ये प्रतिपोषण हुए लोक श्रद्धा पर डाकती मुझे जाए लोक शिक्षा दान करी बहुत प्रशंसा चारिआड जश नाम करी वर्तमान समय देखला सब से कृष्णलीला लोप ही आसला लोकंर आ श्रद्धा ना आमर चलवाटा मु गरीब पिला चलवाटा दुख आ लोक श्रद्धा सुंदर अन्य नाटक लोक गमाती कृष्णलीला रामलीला राधवन लीला एत लोक आनंद हन प्रत्येक देव जात नीति जात नाट हम नाच को भल लोक पाते से आज जो मुझे कहूँ मोर 107 वर्ष कथा 6 वर्ष कथा आजिकल समाज बदली गला लोक बदली गले आउ राम नाम कृष्ण नाम किए शुणुचे बापा ज्ञान पारी प्रतिपोषण करने दुखरे जमीबाट गरीब पिला दुख कष्ट पड़ी चलुची कर
106 वर्ष बयस सत्कार देखिए आपन कोन लागुची पद्मश्री पाइले मंच एरिया
मोर आ चलबार अक्षम बहुत ना सब काला हो जाइए किए ना गोटे पिलाटे अच्छी दुख कष्ट चलुची जगह कौन करी जहाँ करे आप सरकार जब मत अनुकंपा कर साहाଯ୍य करेंगे तापले मु नाच गीत मत गाई पार्टी जाई पार्टी सजिक मत नाच गीत कर सब से नाच बणाई मुझे मत वरुण अच्छी मंत्रिमंडल को मुझे जापारि बरण फेर का फेरदेली परन आउटी जापारे आपणकर दया के अनुकंपा हेले दीरा लोक लोक लगन श्रद्धा चलता राम राम कृष्ण राम जप ध्यान नाच कीर्तन सब देश लोक मंगल हेता लोक मंगल गाँते आपणकर आशीर्वाद जहाँ
Actually, Pratik is Odisha exponent, cultural anthropologist and disciple of Guru. That's why I asked him, he has a good connect with him, so I asked him to come. Please take a word.
Thank you so much. Mu chahibi ame samaste gote thara let's give him a standing ovation. Kahinki ei boysare asiki jodi se ethi amo karyakrama ko aji he has graced this function. Tanko pai samaste ame as a mark of respect standing ovation to him for gracing the inaugural ceremony. Thank you so much. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Bartaman, could I now request Ms. Smriti Lagnananda, Senior Anchor and Bulletin Producer, Argus News, to present the vote of thanks.
A very good morning to all of you. Jemti ki apan samaste janichenti travel out tourism katha jodi ame kahiba, it is not only way to make money, to make economy. It is the best way to be lost and found. आमे समस्ते हजी जीवा और निजु को खोजी पाइबार best way होची travel out tourism. So I am gratified enough to get a chance to deliver my vote of thanks on behalf of Argus family. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देवी आमर जो माने dignitaries अच्छन्ती, जो माने respected delegates अच्छन्ती, बहुमूल्य समय देले एते आलोचना कले एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर आमर जो स्टूडेंट माने अच्छन्ते टूरिज्म रो से माने बहुत किछि सिखिबा को पाइथिबे आउ आजिर दिन सेमान को पाई गोटे मेमोरेबल डे हे कि रहइबो. ऑर्गस मध्य कंटीन्यूअस एफर्ट दे आसुची केमिते टूरिस्ट क्षेत्र रे द मोर वी ग्रो द मोर वी रियलाइज सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद समस्त को. एबे हमर ऑर्गस रो मुख्य संपादक श्रीयुक्त संजय जेना को अनुरोध रहइबो फॉर मेमेंटो प्रेजेंटेशन एंड डिलीवरिंग बुके. थैंक यू सर.
Thank you. And yes, as she's already mentioned, that as a token of appreciation from the Argus family, we would like to present mementos to all our esteemed dignitaries on dais, and we'll request both Shri Sanjay Jaina, Editor-in-Chief, Argus News, and Shri Prakash Sahu, CEO, Argus News, to do the honors. A big round of applause as we present the mementos to our guests. Prathame, amaro Padma Shri recipient, amaro chief guest, tanku ame gote memento प्रदान करी हम कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करिया पे चाहिबू श्रीयुक्त गोपीनाथ स्वाई. We would like to present a memento to the Director Tourism Uttar Pradesh, Ms. Priti Srivastava, extending our gratitude to her for gracing the inaugural ceremony of this conclave. Let's give a big round of applause. To presenting it now to Dr. Tapan Kumar Panda. Shri Debashish Patnaik. So there's a souvenir from Uttar Pradesh as well to all our esteemed dignitaries here. We are thankful for that gesture. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the inaugural session. Can we have a group photograph? And then, of course, I request all our esteemed dignitaries to join in the front row and be a part of the discussions and deliberations for the rest of the day. We'll have a group photograph. Thank you. Once again, a big thank you to all our dignitaries. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a very short tea break before we resume with our panel discussion. So we'll request everyone, it's a 10 minutes tea break. So we'll request everyone to grab their cup of tea and then be seated back so that we can start with the panel discussions for the day.
An adrenaline rush like never before on your next vacation to Goa. Paraglide and soak in the views. Or touch